Welcome back to Touring the AFC South. I'm your host, Mike Patton. And last episode, we went to North Carolina. We liked it so much, we going back again to North Carolina. Joining me on the show this time around is a person that everyone should know by now if they don't. And I'm gonna
You gassing me, Mike.
I'm just
You are
saying,
gassing
hey,
me.
you're pretty much everywhere. So I'm gonna the floor is yours, Miss Sheena. Quick, tell everybody just basically all the things that you do.
I don't even know. Is it multimedia journalist? Because I do
Uh
some on-air stuff, but I'm also a writer. I cover primarily the NFL, but also, if need be, I can throw in some college hoops. I cover NASCAR and the Big Three.
right.
So, and I cover the Carolina Panthers, as you kind of mentioned earlier. Uh, I also have a bi-weekly sports column on Revolt called The Halftime Report. And if you guys follow me on social media, I like food, so I'm always cooking too. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna touch on the food a little later. But so I did a little homework on you, and of course I know you ran track.
Oh, okay, okay.
So no, that
No, I'm
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
So how did you go from track to now writing and doing television? How did that transition happen?
I have probably had the most unorthodox path to sports media as anybody because I did not go to journalism school. My degrees are in accounting and international marketing. And I was actually working in accounting from the time, I finished school until about 2017-ish. I started sports journalism in 2016. It was something that kind of just started out as a hobby. I've always been an athlete. Um, I've always watched sports, even after, my career was over and I was a mom. I'm still really, really, really involved in sports. And I started writing about sports as a hobby. And it kind of just really took off from there. I was like, I kind of like this. And people seem to like what I have to say. It still blows me away that people want to hear my opinion, by the way. Like it really listen, it really blows me away. I'm like, you want my opinion? You want me to say, okay, this is what I think. So that's kind of been my path, and I'm just honestly learning as I go along.
Gotcha. Now I will say I do enjoy hearing you pack up people on the Quick Blitz podcast with you and Vashti.
What you mean, Mike? I'm the good cop. Vashti's the bad cop. I'm the good cop.
Okay,
If
well,
I pack you up, it's because you really, really, really deserve the packaging. Like you have to really deserve it. Like, I might throw a little jab here and there, but if I completely pack you up, you have that coming.
well, you heard it here from her first, but I yeah, you pack some people up. We're just gonna leave it at that. But getting away from how you began your career in terms of writing and television. Now, I will say I didn't go to college for journalism either. I actually went to
Oh,
college I have a marketing degree. So
oh
there you go.
wow. Okay.
So yeah. So unorthodox, yeah, meet unorthodox. So so as far as I you just got back from the combine. I gotta
I
talk
did.
about that. Now, the standouts. Who were some of the people that stood out to you while you were up there?
Obviously, Jordan Davis. Obviously. I haven't seen a big man move like that in forever. Well, no, I'm going to say ever, not for in forever, but ever. Malik Willis was also a standout. We had our eyes on Charles Cross because I figured that I went in, let me just say this. I went into Indy thinking there was no way, no how the Panthers would pick a quarterback at number 6. Mainly, not just because, this class has a lot of question marks with it. I mentioned on the news earlier in the week that if Mitch Trubisky is the best option out there, that says a lot about the quarterback class. It says a lot about the guys that are set to become free agents next week. And it's unsettling. Like Mitch Trubisky is supposed to be the cream of the crop. Like that's a little bit unsettling to me. So I was just like, and then Matt Rule has to win. His job status is up in the air right now. Like he's going into year 3, is make or break. I didn't feel like he would hinge all of that on the shoulders of a rookie. But I left Indianapolis impressed by Malik Willis. And genuinely feel that they are he is a possibility to become a Carolina Panther if he's available at 6,
Yep.
especially if they can't find a vet QB. So on one end, I'm like, okay, you're not going to trust a rookie with that. But then on the other end, I'm like, he's kind of 0 for 2 with the vets. So you might want to try something a little different. So it definitely murkied up the waters even more when it comes to what the Panthers may do in late April. I will say that. Charles Cross's stock grew. It got higher. It improved. So he may not even be there at 6. I mean, we're seeing some offensive linemen. I think it'll be at least 3 taken in the top 5. So I would just say that whole O lineman class, they're kind of often the forgotten guys. They impress me because Carolina definitely needs to shore up their offensive line. But this is kind of what their issue is every offseason. And they haven't been able to fix it in free agency. You know, they not recruited, I'm sorry, they drafted I want to say Greg Little. I always get him mixed up. I always get him mixed up with the UNC basketball player by the same name. And they're totally different. Like, a little back in the day. But yeah, they even tried to address, the last time the draft was in your city, in Nashville, and he ended up not working out. Eventually was traded to the Dolphins, and I believe he ended up on IR and didn't even finish the season last year. So they've just really had bad luck. No one was a fan of the early free agents signings. That the Panthers did last year on the offensive line, and those guys stayed hurt. I want to say both of them ended up on season-ending IR as well. So it gets a little funky. Then you got to throw in the fact that they only have one pick in the first 100. They don't pick again until 105. After they pick at 6, they don't pick again to 105. So there's always the option or the possibility that someone, the Steelers, if they don't get their quarterback situation rectified in free agency, they could jump up and want to, take Malik Willis with that number 6 pick, and in turn trade. The Panthers would be trading back to get some of those picks that they lost when they acquired C.J. Henderson and Sam Darnold. So it's never a dull moment with this team. And anybody that says that they know what's happening with the Panthers with absolute certainty is lying, because it literally changes daily.
Right. I mean, with as it does with a lot of teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say this person's going to stay, this person's going to leave, and then next thing you know, it could flip flop. So I definitely understand that. Now, you did speak about Mr. Rule, and
I did.
I call him the ruleisms when he talks. I call him
he does. Yeah, I could see that. He has some ruleisms. I could see that.
Especially the Jay-Z talk. I was like, God, don't ever say that again.
Well, in that one person that you're talking about, he also referenced Fresh Prince, like walking in and everybody's gone out of the living room in Bel Air, and I'm thinking to myself, that might be you, but I'm just saying. But I think that he's just trying to relate. He's trying to relate to fans. He's trying to relate to the guys. He is coming from college, so he's used to dealing with younger players and things of that nature. So he kind of got, he walked into not a great situation, and it kind of catapulted and snowballed from there. So you're 1 to 2 decisions away from being out of a job. And unfortunately for him, he has just not been able to get it right at the quarterback position. That's one of the, if not the most important position on the field, and he's 0 for 2.
Right.
So he definitely has his ruleisms, and he's trying to relate to the fans. I mean, he seems to. My issue is the lack of accountability. That's long been my issue with him. Because coming from Ron Rivera to Matt Rule, they're just 2 totally different coaches. Right. You get guys that say they love playing for Ron. You get guys that say they love playing for Matt Rule. Most of the guys that say that have been coached by him in college, but there's also other vets I'm not even gonna say vets, but guys on other teams that, they say Coach Rule changed their lives in college, so it's all subjective to who you're talking to when it comes to Matt Rule. And coming out of a COVID season, which I think honestly bought him a 3rd year. I think that if COVID didn't happen, he's gone after 2 5-win seasons. But I think he kind of got, there was a little bit of an asterisk beside that first season, because he didn't have a full off season. COVID made things pretty difficult. He was not able to interface with fans the way that, Ron Rivera and his family were able to get out in the community. So he's been hampered by COVID. And I think that That's one of the factors that, I don't make excuses for Coach Rule. I for one don't make excuses for Coach Rule, but I
Right.
think that the ruleisms and the Jay-Z references, I think he's trying to find a way to make himself more relatable to Carolina Panthers fans.
No, he's definitely interesting to me. I mean, honestly, the funniest thing I think about him is talking about his plan. That's always funny to me because it always
It's funny
reminds me.
because nobody knows what it is.
Right,
That
exactly.
listen, the process is just as present as Tommy's job in Martin. Like we never knew what Tommy's job was, so I don't know if we will ever know what the process consists of.
Right. I mean, yeah,
Is
you're
it
right.
tangible? I don't know.
It
We,
is.
we we don't know what the process is, but he said it's 1,000% working, whether you and I can see it or not.
Oh boy, this almost sounds like we're traveling into the Emperor's New Clothes territory.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
You didn't do that.
I did. I did. But yeah, as far as the Panthers, that we can talk about them on the field, I should say that of course there are some rumors around Christian McCaffrey right now. I don't know how real they are or not, but there are some rumors about him and trade rumors. Now, are there any type of is there any type of validity to that?
I think there absolutely is validity to that. Now, I can't speak as to specifically which teams would be, a destination or a possibility, but I think it's very logical now, with him only playing 10 of the last 33 games. Coincidentally, since he signed the contract extension, I think Panthers fans are they're warming back up. They're warming up to the possibility of Christian McCaffrey not being a Panther next season. Now, had this time last year, you would have been burned at the stake for suggesting that they trade Christian McCaffrey. He's been a workhorse. He is a dynamic player. And most of the time over the last couple of years, he's been their only offensive weapon. He's been Mr. Do-It-All, other than, DJ Moore. He's been there were several times where Christian McCaffrey was the most targeted receiver, where he led the receivers and the running backs. He was a part of that coveted thousand club. He is a dynamic player, but the best or the most important ability when it comes to professional sports is availability, and he just hasn't been there. So yeah, you might have Christian McCaffrey on your roster, but people are used to his presence no longer being on the field, so they are more susceptible and more warmed up to the idea of him actually being traded elsewhere to shore up other areas on the team. But what's going to be crazy is if he's traded and balls the hell out and has a completely healthy season next season.
Man, that
Panthers
would be
Twitter
fun.
is going to start a riot. Do you hear me? It's going to go down. If he gets traded and plays a full season, people are going to lose it. But I do think that there has to be validity to those rumors. It has to be. But one of the things that murkies the water is that they haven't started paying that extension yet. The
Ah,
extension that made him the highest paid running back at the time of the signing, that contract, that part of the contract hasn't even been activated yet. They have not paid anything on that just yet. So they will definitely be taking a hit. And but I mean, the good part is, it's going to be hard for them to offload Sam Darnold for 18 million, but it's not going to be hard for them to offload Christian McCaffrey, especially if you have a contender that feels that they're just a running back away. I feel like somebody will pay that.
yeah. I don't know. When I think of Sam Darnold, I can't help but to think that it's kind of like you got a Pinto with about 55% interest. That's what I kind of think about when think of
I
Sam Darnold.
mean, when that trade went down, I said that is a lateral move at best from Teddy Bridgewater. At the very best, it was going to be a lateral move. It turned out to not even be that. Because, for all intents and purposes, everybody that had a problem with Teddy Bridgewater, I find myself saying this all the time. Teddy Bridgewater did not have a disappointing season in Carolina. He had a Teddy Bridgewater season. Like, his performance was right on par with what he has done since he entered the league. He just happened to be on teams that played complementary football. And the Panthers were not a team that could play complementary football when he was the starter. You lose Christian McCaffrey, who they basically center their entire offense around, which was not smart. Should never base all of that on one player, because as you can see, when that player is unavailable, everything falls apart. But he had statistically one of his best seasons since he's been a pro. It just wasn't enough. He luckily he was on teams in Minnesota with strong defense. He didn't have to do anything but protect the ball. In Carolina, he was going to be asked to make plays, and he was also stepping into some pretty big shoes in Cam Newton. People did not like the way that went down, his first exit. So enter, Teddy Bridgewater. You announced that you're letting Cam seek a trade. Hours later, you announced the signing of Teddy Bridgewater, and it got him a lot of hatred that he really didn't even deserve.
Gotcha.
So then you go from Teddy Bridgewater, who's run of the mill, to Sam Darnold. And it was just the craziest thing to me, because it's one thing to draft a rookie that has all this upside and it doesn't pan out. But it's another thing to trade for a quarterback who he has film, he has NFL film, and it looks bad. And then on top of trading for him, you pick up his 5th-year option before he even throws a pass, before he even gets to make his first order at Bojangles. Like, I don't even know if he was in North Carolina yet. Like, he hadn't even had his first Bojangles Bowberry biscuit, and he signed, and they picked up that option. It didn't make sense to me. And I always said, if Darnold doesn't pan out, Matt Rule is at stake. I've literally always said that on Quick Blitz, and you are like one of our biggest supporters, Mike. So I know you listen to it. You're there every week, every time we drop a new episode. I always said that this move was lateral at best, and it ain't even proved to be lateral. And right. But I always wondered, I'm like, well, what went into that decision? Like, it can't be that, oh my God, this film is dynamic. He got hurt this year, or they blamed a lot of that on Adam Gase. Adam Gase ain't here no more. Not saying he came to a much better coaching situation in Carolina, because those guys don't have a ton of experience, but Sam Darnold is proven to be Sam Darnold. He's who I thought he was. How about that?
Yes.
Sam Darnold is exactly who I thought he was, and it's going to be hard for them to offload that, but they're willing to pay a portion of that option to send him on his way. And then that's going to be 2 seasons in a row that you're paying a quarterback that's on another team.
Not good at all. Now I will say, what would be the number one thing that you feel the Panthers need to address this offseason? Besides offensive line, of course. Any other things do you think they need to address? Of course, quarterback, but
outside of that, in-game adjustments. Because I've seen them ball out in the first half, and then the other team goes and they make adjustments to shut down whatever was working for the Panthers, but the Panthers don't adapt and change again. So that's one of the things that I would say they really need to focus on, is the in-game adjustments, trusting their coaching staff. There's no reason for them to have the third quarter meltdowns that they've had. I mean, it was one statistic in where I forgot how many minutes they had gone without scoring.
Wow.
It was insane. Like, it was a crazy statistic. Another thing that has to go, those black uniforms, toss them jokers in the trash. Like, they play absolute garbage, straight basura in the all black unis. Toss them joints, toss the black uniforms until you can, get a little bit to establish a winning culture. To quote Matt Rule, until you establish a winning culture, do not come out in all black. Like, it's almost like y'all are walking to your own funeral. So don't do that. So no black uniforms, in-game adjustments. I guess getting DJ Moore and getting Robbie Anderson involved still goes back to a quarterback type of question. But make sure that your skilled players are skilled. Make sure that there's no more salary cap nightmares. Like, they're actually going to possibly lose Hassan Reddick, but they've done some more, restructuring deals and things like that to free up some money. So just being smarter on the money side of things. I think that we're going to see a difference in roster because Matt Rule had a lot of control. And I don't know, but in Indy, when he did talk to us, I don't get the sense that he's as much in control as he was. Gotcha. Don't quote me on it. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have any source that told me that. It's just my observation.
Got you. Totally understand. Okay, so we got a little football, talked about, the combine, things like that. But of course, we do have a game.
I like games. Bring it on.
There'll be 2 answers. There's 2 questions, and 2 choices, I should say.
Okay.
And of course, you got to pick one. Can't get out of it. No, we ain't throwing no C in there. No, it's just A and B. But
Okay.
here we go. We got Flojo or Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Jackie Joyner Kersey.
All right, all right. I thought that one might be a little, might make you think a little bit, but hey, we'll go to the next. Oh,
Yeah, Jackie Joyner for sure.
all right
She
now.
did everything.
Yeah, she did. You're right. You're right. I actually passed by Flojo's school when I went to California last. So
A
yeah,
beast.
school name. Yes, definitely. More fun to make, dinner or dessert.
Dessert.
Now, for those that don't know, Sheena posts a bunch of pictures and videos of food she makes. So at the end, I'll let them have your social media, and you can have them go check that out there. But let's see. Next one, Sam Mills or Cam Newton?
Cam Newton.
I
I mean,
thought it
it's
might be a little.
that's a generational thing though. So, Cam, when I think of the Carolina Panthers, I think of Cam Newton. Of course, the keep pounding, no disrespect to Sam Mills. Congratulations on his impending induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But I say Cam Newton because I covered him. I actually, know him. So that's my choice.
Got you. All right, we're gonna go to North Carolina State here.
Let's
Torrey
go.
Holt or Haywood Jeffries?
Torrey Holt. These ain't hard. I thought you were coming. I thought you were coming with it, Mike. These are not hard.
Oh, I thought they might be a little more challenging, but hey, I was wrong.
Got my ring light. I'm sorry, because I had it up here, and then Aiden came and did what kids do.
Yeah, gotta love it, right? Gotta love kids.
Out of control. Out of control.
Now,
Mike, I can't believe these questions. Why I thought you were gonna stump me, Mike.
Okay, last one. I give you this one: sneakers or pumps?
Sneakers.
Sneakers. All right.
Anyone that knows me knows I keep some flats. I might pose in heels, but trust me, flats are very nearby. They're just not pictured. They're very nearby.
Gotcha. Well, I tried with the questions I had. I didn't expect you to
You
answer
did. I know. I thought you were about to come in here and stump the Schwab or stump the Sheena, but no. Now don't come with nothing crazy next time. Trying to.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm talking too much. I'm talking trash, but it's all in jest.
I already know. Now, my last question for you, I have: what is a Black woman that inspired you to kind of do what you currently do now?
I would say my 5th grade teacher, Miss Ingram.
Okay.
Because she was tough as nails. But looking back on it, she was honestly the first Black teacher that I remembered. The other Black teacher was my Head Start teacher, and her name is Miss Russell. My mom would see her all the time, like almost weekly. I know for me, remembering my teacher when I was 3 and 4 years old, but her name was Miss Russell. But as far as inspiring me today, I would definitely say Miss Ingram from Union Hill Elementary. She was my 5th grade teacher, and she was tough as nails. I used to think she was mean as hell, but she was a strong Black woman, and we had been conditioned to feel like there was something wrong with displaying your strength as a Black woman. So that's why I say she's been the most inspirational to me today. Like, she's definitely going to tell you what's on her mind. Actually, I'm going to find her on Facebook. Send me a recording of this. She needs to know that she inspired me. No, but definitely Miss Ingram, man. Miss Ingram was so smart, so talented, and so headstrong. She was unapologetically Black, and I loved that about her.
Well, I didn't expect a 5th grade teacher, but hey, you definitely laid out the reasons, and I cannot deny any of those. I will say, of course, we've come to the end of our time. I want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking about.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you didn't talk about. Let's see, we're gonna talk about Quick Blitz, Revolt. But no, I'm gonna let you talk about where they can all reach you. And of course, we didn't talk about the food or anything like that. You still ain't sending no food to me down here.
Listen, you over there with the hot chicken. Like you got all the Slim and Huskies. You got mad food choices out there in Nashville.
That's true. But again, pleasure having you on. And if you
Thank you for
would,
having me.
yeah, of course, of course. And if you would, tell everyone where they can find you on social media and what all you have going
Um,
on.
okay, so as mentioned before, I do have the Quick Blitz podcast with Vashti Hurd. We'll be starting that back up shortly. Probably around the draft is when we'll kick off season 3 for that, and that's on the Riot Network. Um, And of course, you can catch my biweekly column on revolt.tv. Today's column was focused on Brittany Griner, the lack of media attention, and just kind of some background information that people may not have known about her, as like what she's doing in Russia. Is she coming home? How is she getting back? All of that stuff. So that's called the Halftime Report, and that runs biweekly, normally on Wednesdays. We just switched it to Brittany last minute, so that's why it ran today. So you guys can check that out today, and then again in 2 more weeks. So you can read some of the stuff I've written before. The topics are pretty evergreen, so it's never really old. I'm also still a contributor for Fox 1340 AM. That's where you'll find all of my Panthers analysis, as well as on my social media networks on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is the same on both, is at Sheena_Marie and the number 3. I recently started a TikTok. I don't post a lot over there because it's just too much work. And I think my TikTok, I think, is She Quick 3, or it might just be She Quick. She Quick or She Quick 3. It ain't nothing but food on there, so you'll know it's me. I think that sums about.
Queen
I do Queen City News. I'm a frequent guest on there. I'll probably be back on there as we get closer to the draft. Or I'm sorry, before that, free agency kicks off next week, so we will be learning about where Cam Newton stands with the team before free agency starts. So be on the lookout for some news coming down the pipeline, as well as some trades. I think we see a big trade coming out of Carolina during free agency. So buckle up.
Right.
But thank you for having me, Mike.
Yeah, of course. And now we've come to the end of touring the AFC South for this week. My guest, Miss Sheena Quick. You've been, I guess, checking out touring the AFC South with your host, Mike Patton. We're out.